Welcome to week 4. This is a big week in the course as you are going to begin to work with the idea of a literature review. The literature review is going to be the heart and soul of your project rationale. It's where you review existing literature to provide the rationale for what your project is going to be. So in this particular assignment, you should choose the topic that you think is going to be your project. Once again, you may change that as you go along, but the process of the literature review is important. So the discussion this week asks you to discuss strategies for analyzing scholarly literature. And there are some good resources to help you with that. We talk about peer-reviewed resources. And that means that the article has been written, the peers of the person who wrote the article has reviewed it to make sure it's academically acceptable. We also talk about primary sources. A primary source would be like John Dewey's original theories on constructivism, on active learning. A secondary source would be like me writing an article based on that. You're actually creating a secondary source in this literature review as you're looking at primary sources, peer-reviewed sources, and then interpreting that. Your project for this course will be a primary source as you gather and present data. So right now you're gathering data, you're gathering research. Now, it says 7 to 10 pages. The numbers aren't important. 7 pages is fine. 6.5 pages is fine. If you want to go over 10, I advise you to try to be concise. Here are some great ideas and how to research. Take some time with that. I've never used RefWorks, but those that do say it's a great tool to use throughout your program. Look into that. The theorist. How do you find a theorist? And analyzing, synthesizing. I'm going to cover these more in the webinar, analyzing, synthesizing, but you go beyond summary. So the discussion post, analyzing literature, is very specific how to talk about that. So you're talking about the framework by which you will do that. I want to focus this and on the actual literature review itself. You are going to choose an issue that you think you may end up working on, and you are going to research for ideas, research on that. Now, there's a sample course template that you should be following. It's based on the APA. Here's the suggested organization. Title page, introduction, overview, topic relation to your specialization, and that's your topic you've chosen. Then a review of the literature. You have at least 5 references, peer-reviewed journals, and then a conclusion, and then references. Now, there is a sample writing page for all the courses here. And this is linked from the course, and you can see that it tells you have this. Then you have the title of your paper, and then you have a level 1 heading. These are level 1 headings are centered. Level 2 heading is to the left. And then, so this is the sample paper. By the way, you never use conclusion or introduction as a title for a heading. So even though it says you have an introduction, give it a different title than that. Overview of the issue. Even though conclusion, don't call it conclusion, call it summary or synthesis of ideas presented, something like that. Now I suggest that you can take that sample paper and just use it, type in your headings, and then fill them in here, whatever the title of the introduction is. So you can just use that by putting these headings. The review of the literature, you may get into some level 2 headings, but I think if you just use that format from the sample paper to do this, you'll be fine. Try to get it done enough to give it to Smart Thinking. But even if you don't, you can submit it after you submit to me and still get feedback. So the important thing this week is to get that literature review. You'll learn a lot about how to gather and present research. And we'll talk more about that in the webinar, but I think it's really an exciting week. It's not a make or break it week. It's a week where you begin to try to do this and get feedback so you continue to improve. We're all learning writers and researchers here, myself included. Together, we're going to get even better at it.